All right, for those of you that have just got here, I'd like to remind you that the first thing we do when we come to class, we just started this yesterday, so it's new, is that we go to Google Classroom and we go to attendance. Today's Tuesday, so we're going to do Tuesday and Thursday check-in. So this is just a recording of me giving you the directions. But you're going to click on Tuesday, Thursday. I left a sweet little video for you. And then you're going to put your name and your class period and fill in the other bubbles. And then come back to the Zoom. Capiche?
Gosh.
You still remember. Awesome.
Wait, Miss, what did it say? I came a little late.
Whoa, Marilyn. When we first come to Science Zoom, we have to go to Google Classroom while we're waiting for everyone to log in. And we have to fill out the attendance. So today is Tuesday, Thursday check-in.
Okay.
You should be going over to Google Classroom and filling that out.
I'm done.
I have a lot of things to go over with you today. And so I want to make sure that we can get all of that done. We're going to start in 2 minutes. I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes.
Theo!
Here we go.
I don't know why, but I just hit him.
Welcome, Jordan. Don't forget to go over to Google Classroom and fill out today's attendance.
Miss, do we submit?
Yep.
Okay.
When you're finished, you hit submit. Welcome, Ms. Guneri. She will be answering your questions in the chat. Oh, whoops. I just muted myself.
Hi, Miss Canary.
Hi.
Looks like we have about 1.5 minutes left, a little less.
What are we doing?
We are going over to Google Classroom and filling out our attendance slip for today. Today says Tuesday, Thursday check-in because today's Tuesday. And you have about 1 minute left to do that.
Okay. Miss, it says, how did you sleep last night? It says best night's sleepover. What does that mean?
It says the best night's sleep ever. That means, the best that I've ever slept in my life.
I didn't read it right.
That's okay. That's what I'm here for. Emo! Hi! I've missed you. Hussein, welcome. I haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here. Like the longest 2 minutes of my life.
Bro, what you want?
Uptime.
Mark, you finally came in with a video.
There we go. All right, so I am going to mute everybody. Hey, Dave, welcome. I don't know where Dave went. Dave, where are you? Dave? Oh, there you are. Thanks. So we went over to Google Classroom to fill out our Tuesday, Thursday check-in. So make sure that you go over and fill that out, please, and hit submit. Today's is shorter than yesterday's. Yesterday we had a riddle on there and a quick question of what you learned today. Today we don't have that. This is just a check-in. I want to see how you're doing as a person, okay? All right, so let's get started. So our expectations are that when we enter the classroom that we have our real name entered in. I see Jordan still has some numbers there. So Jordan, you know how to fix that. And if you can't fix that, that would be awesome. Hi, Nursel. Welcome. Make sure that you head over to Google Classroom and fill out today's attendance. It's called Tuesday, Thursday. Miss Guneri wrote in the chat about it. I'm going over expectations right now for Zoom. So we enter with our real name. And then if you have a question, you raise your hand. Remember, when I'm sharing my screen, you have to raise it in the chat. So that way it pops up and brings me a notification. Because when I'm sharing my screen, I can only see 3 of you. So make sure that, that you raise your hand in the chat. And this is being recorded. So make sure that you're being kind and respectful. And we are talking about school-related items, okay? So I am going to take you over to what we are going to be doing today. Let me share my screen. All right, so this is Google Classroom. This is what I was talking about, Nursel, on our Tuesday, Thursday check-in. So everybody should have went over there to check in for today so I could take attendance. And then this is where our classwork is. Today, our classwork that we're gonna be working on is our vocabulary boxes. So some of you, well, actually all of you that have already completed them, I have returned these back to you today. I made sure that I graded all of these and turned them back into you. Some of them I put comments on it and said that you need to remember to use proper capitalization and punctuation. We're in 4th grade and almost in 5th grade now, so it's super important that you do that on all of your assignments, whether it's for science or ELA or math. We need to make sure that we're using proper punctuation. And so some people just didn't finish the last slide for some reason. So I need you to make sure that you get all of that finished. We are also going to work on labeling the wave because a lot of people, I guess, didn't understand what you were supposed to do there. So we're going to work on doing that together. But before we do any of that, I want to show those of you like Dave, I thought might be interested in this. For those of you that are through, I have an early finisher for you, which is right here. It says finished early, here's a web quest. So a web quest is a topic that I've chosen, and it's waves, of course. And so on this web quest, you have a document with questions and charts for you to fill out, and there's different websites for you to go through in order to find out these things on your quest. At the end, you're going to learn about several different types of waves. There's more than just sound, light, and transverse waves. There's a lot more than that. And so you're going to choose your favorite 3 waves. You're going to put that information into a slide with Google Slides and make a presentation for your classmates. Don't forget to use pictures and videos and all of that information that you've gained. And then your final project is going to be an infographic. So if you do not know what an infographic is, this is an infographic. Okay. So an infographic, Dante. Hi, Dante. Hi, Evan. An infographic, hello, Mercy, is a bunch of information that is presented in an interesting way. So instead of just writing out like some boring report, you kind of put pictures in there and you put statistics and things that really pop to your viewer. And so this actually has several different infographics on here for you to look at. And these are about wildfires. I didn't want to put anything up there about waves. This one's not as interesting unless you're super into money and the economy. That one's kind of boring. Stay away from that. And then this is to keep your home safe. So I'm going to say the first one was the best one, for sure. So that's kind of what you want your infographic to look like, okay? So that's going to be your end project. So to get started, this is the web quest. So she has all of these links set up here for you. And then I have created a Google Doc for you, which is right here. You all have your own, so you can write your own things in here. You don't have to put your name because it'll populate that for me. And then you just go through, you click on this very first link, and it'll take you to that link, and you just fill out these documents all the way through on your quest. And then I've also prepared for you your slides. So you'll just add slides to the presentation to create your presentation. And so I have some directions here. Make sure you change the title to your first name and last name, which is right up here. So where it says your name, it shouldn't say your name. It should actually say like Dante, if that was my name, for example. So I'm going to look at this chat really quick and see if anybody has questions. So somebody said, do we have to do that? So yes, if you are finished today and you are not going to benefit from doing the vocabulary boxes or labeling the wave, then yes, I would like you to get started on this because this is your early finisher project. So I know Dave yesterday would have benefited from this because he ended up leaving early because he already did that work. Oh, I see like a sad face from Dave. Dave, does this not seem interesting to you? I tried to find something that would be on topic and seem interesting. 2 people. Welcome. Don't forget at the end of class to pop over and fill out the attendance form. Not right now though. I can't even find Dave. Dave, where'd you go? I don't know. Oh, there he is. Let me unmute him. Dave, does this seem like something you're interested in?
Yeah, but it's gonna take a long time.
Oh, it won't take that long. And it's not something that has a due date on it. So we're going to be working on waves from now until almost the end of the school year. Like the last 2 weeks, we'll be working with spring scales and force in motion. But now until the last 2 weeks of school, we're working on waves. So really up until the last week of school. So you can get started and you can work on it whenever you're bored or you need something to do or you finish an assignment early. So anyway, so that's for people who are finished early. So let's get started with our vocabulary boxes. I'm going to pause for a moment so that way you can head over to your vocabulary boxes in Google Classroom and you can get those opened right now and log on to STEM Scopes. So you got to do 2 things right now. I did post how to split your screen on the videos. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you go and look at that. Does anybody have any questions at this moment? No? Thumb up if you're good and you're headed over to Google Classroom. Oh, I got a question. Eric?
What happens if like, is this all for a grade even?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Absolutely. I wouldn't be doing this and wasting your time if it wasn't. I'm not about that. Okay. Any other questions? Mark?
Like, so we're actually gonna like do this for the whole year?
Well, okay. We are doing waves for the rest of this year. Right now, we're learning about transverse waves. On Thursday, we're moving on to sound waves. So there's different types of waves, but we're moving on to sound waves. Just like when we learned about energy, we started out and learned about the conservation of energy, and then the transfer of energy, and then collisions. So just like we did different types of energy like that, that's what we're going to do with waves. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions before I move on? I need a thumb up to let me know that you have your vocabulary boxes pulled up and that you have STEM scopes pulled up. Oh, I got a question here. Arlene?
What's the STEM scope thing?
Go to Google Classroom and it's on there. It's literally on today's assignment. So go there. Dave?
What about if you already finished the vocabulary boxes?
So if you already finished that, then you're going to start working on your web quest. And Dave, I know that you finished both of the assignments that we're going to be working on today, and no corrections needed to be made. So you can get started on your web quest. Capiche? All right. I'll mute you again. Maybe. Oh, yeah. All right. So I'm going to say like 30 more seconds and then we're going to get started. Welcome, Naomi. Miss Canary, do you know how you take a screenshot? Like what keys you use to take a screenshot? Oh, me either. Darn.
Oh,
I wish I did. All right, I feel like that was 30 seconds. So we are going to, if you were confused and, oh, Dylan, welcome. I'm so glad to see you. I haven't seen you in so long. Welcome, Mateo. I haven't seen you either. Nice. You guys are showing up today. That's awesome. All right, I'm going to continue sharing my screen. And I'm going to go back to Google Classroom and show you what I was talking about. So here, oh, this isn't it. One moment, please. Let's go back to classwork. I don't want extensions. I want to go to my work for today, which is right up here. Today. So this is what I was talking about. This right here is how you are going to log on to STEM Scopes. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So I logged in because I want to make sure that I have my vocabulary pulled up. That way I know the correct definition and the scientific definition that we're looking for our vocabulary boxes. A lot of you can see that, oh, 1 second, please. So I just said, please stop writing in the chat unless you have a question or unless you are answering a question. We should not be talking to each other in the chat because this is our class time. If you would like to do that, then you're more than welcome to join my lunch bunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But right now is not the time. Thank you. All right, so I'm just going to go into my own bundle here instead of one of yours. So here is our picture vocabulary. So this is what you should have had pulled up to work with while you were filling out your vocabulary boxes. So I have a couple of vocabulary boxes here that I wanted to work on. I made a video for you. Let's go back here to Google Classroom. This video shows you how to insert a picture. All right, good afternoon, my amazing scientists. So it's super important that whenever I provide you with materials like this, that you're clicking on each and every one of them so that way you know exactly what it is that I've provided. I've tried to think ahead of all of the questions that you may possibly have. So people I know are going to say, oh, I can't draw a picture in the vocabulary box. Well, I've tried to think about that for you, and I've taught you how to insert an image. Okay. So let's go back to, I want to have two windows open right now. So I'm going to shrink that down. I'm going to take out my picture vocabulary and put that on one side. And then I want my vocabulary on the other. Ta-da, two, one time. Brittany, ooh, I don't know who that is. I'm not letting that person in. Okay, so I already did this example with you in my video, so I'm not going to go over this again. But I did notice on a lot of the submissions that I did receive that people had trouble with wave and model. So we're going to do that together. So if you know how to do a double screen, you should do that right now. If you do not, then you'll have to toggle back and forth between STEM scopes and between well, I guess you could use for right now my screen, but you'll have to toggle between those tabs. And then remember, there's a video for you under video that says how to split your screen. Jocelyn, I'm sorry to hear that, but make sure that you are pulling up your assignment and you're working on it with us. So we're not just here to be with the camera, we're here to actually do science work, okay? So in my picture vocabulary over here, let me shrink this down. I have a wave. So down here is my definition, a disturbance that transfers energy from place to place. So I'm going to type that over here where it says definition. A disturbance that transfers. Oh, I won't be able to see that, so I have to go over here and push enter. If I spelled disturbance wrong, I can right click on that. For you guys, you use 2 fingers and click at the same time. Oh, that didn't work. What's happening here? And then it tells me how to spell it correctly. So anytime you see the red squiggly line, that means it's a spelling error. A disturbance that transfers energy from place to place. I'm going to hit enter again because I can't really see that. And I want to make sure that my teacher would be able to see that. Remember, Ms. Breslin's getting old here, so. Miss Guneri, that is Jordan. All right, so I'm going to give a final warning. If you are writing in the chat and you are spamming and putting things in there that you should not, I'm going to have to remove you from our Zoom today. And you can try again tomorrow, okay? Because we can't have that in there. We're actually trying to be learners and great little scientists right now. So we have our definition so far. Let me pull up my video here. I need a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you have your definition filled in with me. Uh-oh, I see a couple people with a thumbs down, a couple more. Dante, do you need help with something?
Yeah, I can't get on.
You can't get on what?
This definition. I mean, I can't fill this thing out. In my science work, I can't see it. Or is it on the accelerate, or is it on bit.ly?
No, it's on Google Classroom. It's on Google Classroom, and then it's at the very top today. I'll pull mine up where it says, let me go over here so they're not expanded, where it says Tuesday. So it's under motion and waves, and it says Tuesday.
Gonna see it.
And then it's right here. All right, let me go to somebody else who had their thumb down. Arlene, do you need help with something?
No, I figured it out.
Wonderful. That's a big brain moment right there. Mark, can I help you with something?
I still don't know how to do double screen.
Oh, you're gonna have to watch the video for that because it'll take me too long to try to show you that. But I put 3 videos up on my Google Classroom, so you just have to click over where it says video and find the one that says how to split your screen part 2. Okay?
So I just have to get off Zoom.
No, you don't have to get off Zoom. You could shrink it down. This little window is to shrink it down, and then you can toggle between the tabs. That means go back and forth between the tabs. I hear my cat outside. Ain't nobody got time for that though. Eric, did you need help? What do you need help with, Eric?
I can't really find it where you
Can't
guys
find
are
it.
at.
Okay, so you go to Google Classroom, Science,
Okay.
and then you go to, when you first go there, it's on the stream. You have to go over to where it says classwork.
Classwork.
Are you there?
Yeah.
And the first thing you should see is attendance. And we're filling out Tuesday and Thursday today, if you didn't already. And then right now, we're under waves in motion, and it's right where it says Tuesday. Today's Tuesday, so that's what we're working on. And then here's the items inside there for us today. You find it? Eric?
I think so.
Wonderful. I don't know where you went to mute.
Yeah, I found it.
Could you please mute yourself? I don't know where you're.
Me?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you. Found you. Got it. All right. Anybody else have a question before we move on? Thank you for being patient. Those of you who do not have questions, I appreciate your patience. All right. So let me go back here. I'm going to show you really quickly how to insert a picture. So to put in a picture, we're going to go up here where it says insert. And then we're going to select image. I'm just pointing at it. I'm not clicking. And then I could upload one from my computer, which I do happen to have a picture of a wave on my computer, but I'm going to search the web for a picture of a wave. So I'm going to put wave in here. And of course, this kind of wave pops up. We are talking about those, so that would be okay. So I guess I'll use one of these for right now. This one looks cool. So I'm going to insert that picture. It usually takes up the whole screen. So I'm going to go to the corner and click on it until I see that little double-sided arrow and resize the picture. And then stick it in the slot that says picture. So now I have my definition and my picture, and now I need 3 examples. I really like having these bullet points, so I'm going to put those on there. I'm going to check this chat really quickly. Mercy, every single day, my class is from 2 until 3 o'clock. Every single day. All right, so anybody have an example? Please type it into the chat. An example of a wave. What do you think? So somebody said sound wave. I can put that down. Light wave. Anybody know what kind of wave an ocean wave is called? Starts with a T. Anybody want to try typing it in the chat? It's not tsunami. Transverse wave. Nice job, Evan. All right, so those are my 3 examples. And then when I write my sentence, when I stick my cursor over here, ooh, seismic wave. You could write that. Nice. See how right here, that's where I'm going to start typing. I'm going to hit enter a few times so I don't start typing right there. And remember, Miss Breslin is getting older, and so she needs the size of the letters to be changed so that way I can actually see what it says. Some of you wrote it like super tiny and like 10-point font, and I was just like, what? What does that say? So I changed it to 24 font. Anybody have a sentence using of the examples? And we definitely have to use the word wave inside. So please type an example in the chat. Of a sentence that we could use. So this is just like when we're in class and I ask you, do you have a sentence? And you raise your hand and you give me a sentence that I could use using the word wave. So what could I use? I did see people write down, I like to wave to my friends, and that's not the kind of wave that we're talking about. That's a greeting. And so if you're not using the STEM Scopes definitions, which you should be, because I provided them for you, make sure when you're looking up your own definition that you're looking for one that's scientific. If it doesn't sound scientific, then that's probably not the definition. So we're going to do model next, and people talked about like supermodels, and that's not the type of model that we talk about in science. Okay, we're talking about models, which is a small scale representation of something. So somebody said an ocean wave is called a transverse wave. That's wonderful. Somebody said a seismic wave. Where'd that go? I don't know where that went. It said something like a seismic wave is an earthquake. So let me write to Dante really quickly. All right. So I'm going to use a transverse wave, or what did they say? An example? An example of a transverse wave is a wave in the ocean. I said something like that. Sorry if that wasn't your exact words. And remember to underline that word, just like we do in class. Somebody asked, it was Nursel actually, if we had to label our drawing. We are not going to do that digitally, but great question. Thank you. Oh, an ocean wave is called a transverse wave. Yes, that's a great sentence. So go ahead and put that in there. And then I'm going to leave this up for a moment. I'll make this one larger so you can see the entire thing. And then I'm going to give you a few minutes Welcome, Kevin. I'm glad to see you. Make sure when you're ready to move on to the next slide, you give me a thumbs up so I know that we're all ready to move on. Jason, thank you for showing me a thumbs up. Hussein, do you need help? Okay. Mateo, is that a thumbs up? Awesome, thank you. Evan, Maria, thank you for showing me a thumbs up. Arlene, do you have a question? Arlene?
How do you put the picture again?
So you click inside that box and then you go up to insert and you click on insert and then you point to image and you go over to search the web. And then that will pop up and you type in the word that you want in here. Sometimes when you type in a word, weird stuff pops up, like on my video that I posted for you guys on how to do this. I was trying to search the word lake and Lady Gaga popped up for some reason. So sometimes weird stuff pops up. So you just have to look through the images and make sure that it's the right choice for what you wanted. Thanks for that question. Mark, is there something that I can help you with? Mark Perez. Oh, I can't unmute you for some reason. Strange. Okay, well, let me check out this chat. All right, well, I'm gonna move on to the next one, which is model. So I want to split my screen again, so I'm gonna go ahead and hit these small tiles and put it down. And then I'm going to pick up the whole screen and drag it all the way to the left until I see that little invisible screen behind, and then let it go and it'll snap into place. So that's how I split my screens. And we're going to work with model. So then that means I need to go over in STEM scopes and find out where that's at. So right now I'm on wave, surface, model. A model is a representation of something found in real life. So that's what we're going to write right here. A representation of something. Whoops. Oh, I put something. Hold on. Oh, it doesn't recognize it as being spelled wrong yet. I'll just fix it. Something found in real life. I don't have to put a period because that's not a proper sentence. However, when I'm over here in sentence, I do need to put a period and proper punctuation. Let's start with our examples first. I like to do definition, example, picture, and then a sentence. And it just helps my brain to work around in a circle like that. So I need your help to help me out in the chat and give me an example of a model. What is an example of a model? A globe. That's a great example. We can't actually have the whole world in the classroom to show you. So the globe is a model. Kevin, your chat needs to make sure that you're answering the questions that I'm asking, please, and not texting or chatting with your friends. If you would like to do that, you can join us for lunch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but right now it is science time. Someone said a model airplane. Welcome back to those of you who left. Okay, so I need to pause because Unfortunately, somebody's not following expectations. And they can no longer be a part of our Zoom today. If you get removed from our Zoom, you will get a phone call home to your parent. So just be mindful of that. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get our work in this time that we are here. So I need one more example of a model. I have plane, a model airplane, a globe. What else? Mercy, please keep your chats focused on schoolwork. A model boat. Thank you. All right, so now it's time for me to insert a picture. I'm going to go over to Insert, search the web, and I'm going to put in here model airplane. So these are actual airplanes. I want a model airplane. So the way I can tell if it's a model or not is that it's a small representation of it. So these right here inside of a case would be a model airplane. Mercy, a model shoe is not the type of model that we are looking for. That is not scientific. And that would be the actual size, and it's not a smaller representation of something. So there are airplanes in here. And so now that I'm finished with that, I'm going to type in my sentence. I'm going to change it to 24 so I can see what I'm typing. And then who has a sentence for me with model? Oh, Emmy's on it. Thank you, Emmy. The model airplane looks just like, I'm going to change your words a little bit and put looks just like an actual, anybody a plane expert and know what type of planes? I was thinking of a stealth bomber, but I think that's a jet, not a plane. I'll put aircraft carrier. I'm not sure if that's the same. Maybe I'll stick with an actual real plane. All right, thanks, Emmy. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment so I can see all of your lovely faces before we get into labeling. Does anybody have questions? So those are the only 3 slides that I'm doing with you. You need to make sure that you are finishing this on your own. You only have 2 left. But it's important that we know this vocabulary because you may not be taking the MAP test this year, but you will be taking it next year. And they're going to test you over everything that I've taught you this year and what you learn next year and what you learned in 3rd grade. So it's important that when you see these vocabulary terms come across your screen in a question, that you understand what they're talking about and what they mean. Mark?
Like, I couldn't, like, gone to the, like, I couldn't got into that, 4 boxes.
How come?
Like, there was, like, an error on the Chrome.
When we get done with the Zoom, I can stay in here with you and help you, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna move on to labeling a wave now. I don't see anybody else's hand up. Hi. Sorry, I saw a parent in there. I wanted to make sure I said hello. Didn't want to be rude. All right, so let me go back to sharing my screen. And then Google Classroom. I'm gonna make this big over here because we don't need STEM scopes anymore. I'm gonna shrink this down so I have some room. All right, so that's all the way in last week's work. So I have to scroll down, and this is last week's dates, 3:30 to 4:3. And then I'm going to open up Tuesday. Oh, look at that, it was on Tuesday, crazy. Labeling a wave. So the first thing I should do is listen to the directions because it tells you, or you can read them right here. The next thing that I'm going to do is open up this video. And I'm also going to open up my copy of the wave. So this is what I asked you to bring a piece of pencil.
Waves. One of the first things we need to know about waves is there are two different types of wave.
Right now.
One, shown here by waves.
Oh my goodness. All right, hold on. Sorry. So, oh, that like threw me off. Let me close this down. This is my copy. Okay. So this is the video we're going to be using. I don't even know what I was saying. That threw me off. This is, oh, I asked you to bring a piece of paper and a pencil. So that way, while we're watching this video, you can draw your own wave and label those parts, okay? So if you don't have that, make sure that you're grabbing that right now while I get the video set up. We need to have a piece of paper and a pencil. Awesome, thank you, Mercy. Okay, I'm gonna get back to my video, make it larger for you, and start the video. Oh, I already started it. Let me start it again.
Waves. One of the first things we need to know about waves is there are two different types of wave. One, shown here by waves in the sea, and the other one shown by sound waves. So how are they different? Well, first let's look at the sea waves. If we look at them represented with this slinky, we see that the vibrations are at 90 degrees or perpendicular to the direction of travel of the wave. These are called transverse waves, and examples of them are waves in water, waves on a string, or light waves. Now let's look at the sound waves again. Again, we see them represented by the slinky, but this time the direction of vibration is parallel to the direction of travel. These are called longitudinal waves, and the only example you really need to remember is sound. One really important thing to remember about waves is they only transfer energy from place to place, not any matter. And we can see that here by looking at a lovely rubber duck sat in a bath. As a wave goes through, the duck bobs up and down, but once the wave's gone, he's back to his original position. The wave has carried energy through, but it did not carry the duck with it.
So it does not.
Finally, we need to know some key features of waves. First off, wavelength. A wavelength is the length.
I'm going to pause for a minute so you can draw that wave on your piece of paper. So draw that wave. I wish this big box wouldn't pop up. How do you get that off? I'm sure you guys are professional YouTubers here. Oh, yeah, I figured it out. It was a big brain moment right there. So just draw this simple wave on there. It doesn't need to be anything perfect. And make sure you draw an arrow from the top of one wave to the other, and you label that wave length. So that is how we measure the length of a wave. You're labeling it from one side, from one crest or peak to the other, wave length. Thumb up when you have that complete. Hussein, please be kind. Mark, do you have that complete? Mark Herrera, do you have your wave drawn and labeled wavelength?
I don't got paper.
Hey, I asked you to bring a paper, so I need you to grab a paper and draw that.
All right.
All right, so I see a few thumbs up. Thank you, Mateo. I'm going to start the video.
Of a full cycle of a wave from one point to the next same point.
You only have
It's
to have
easiest to think of as a distance from crest to crest or from trough to trough. And we measure it in meters, and it's given the symbol lambda, a nice Greek symbol. The amplitude is like the size.
Woo, we have a lot of stuff here. So at the top of one of your waves, you should label that crest because that is the top of it. And then at the bottom, the trough, I think he says trough at the bottom here. And then this line going across is equilibrium. You don't have to label that, but this distance right here, measuring the height of the wave, is the amplitude. So there's 4 things that you need to label, which is the wavelength, the crest, whoops, the trough, and the amplitude.
Of a wave. But we need to remember that it's measured from the equilibrium position, or the central line, to the crest, not from the crest to the trough.
Okay, so that's where I said that you could pause this video and you did not have to watch the rest of it because we're not going to get into that, okay? So if we took notes and we drew a picture, we should be able to use our picture to go over to our classwork and open up our wave. So where would I place this wave? Make sure you raise your hand in the chat so I can call on you. Where would I place wavelength on this model right here? Where would I place that? Okay, Mercy, if your computer is about to die, then you should probably plug that in. When you could turn it back on, make sure you look for this assignment and complete it, please. Still waiting for a student to raise their hand and tell me where I would put wavelength and label that on my picture. Where would I do that? We just watched a video. Hussein, where would I put that?
Like right there. I don't.
Okay, so right here?
Yeah.
That is incorrect. That is the cleanup song. Let's go to Maria. Make sure you're watching, Hussein. Maria, where would I, oops, I unmuted Mark. Maria, where would I put wavelength?
Right, like in between the 2 waves.
Right in between the 2 waves?
No,
Like right
like
here?
on top. Like the wavelength. Wait.
I can move
Yeah.
this. And I can move that. So then I can put this word, all of these things are manipulatives for you to move around. So they don't have to stay like that. And I can move that, like that. Let me move that title out of the way. Oh, that's not the title. So I can move all those things out of my way so I can see wavelength right there. Thank you, Maria.
Welcome.
Where would the crest go? Oh, I saw a hand up. Oh, I don't know who that was. 2 people have their hands raised. Oh, Eric, gotcha.
I think you put the crest at like the top of the wave.
Yeah, good job. So I'm going to move the crest to the top of the wave. What's this little area right here? Why is that being measured right there? What is that? I'm going to call on Arlene. Arlene? Oh, I can't hear you, Arlene.
The amplitude.
The amplitude. Nice job. So then my last one is the trough. If I'm British. Where am I going to place that? Jocelyn, is that your hand up? No? Okay. Nobody knows where that goes? If you do not, you can go to this next slide and it says it's the lowest point the medium sinks to. The lowest point. So where would that go? I'm going to call on Aixa. If that's the lowest point, where would I put it, Aixa?
Bottom of the big gap.
Yeah, I put it at the bottom of the gap. I'm going to put it on this one over here because that looks like the lowest point. So that is all you have to do for that assignment. It's simply go in, move those things around, put them in the right place, and it's easy points for you, okay? But a lot of people did not do that, so I wanted to make sure that we went over that in class. For those of you that came in late, I'm going to show you really quickly. We have an attendance to do. So if you did not do this yet, it's a daily attendance when you log on to my Zoom while we're waiting for people to come in or towards the end. Today's Tuesday, so under attendance in Google Classroom, we're going to click on that and open up the Google form. And it's super simple. You just put your name and your class period, like who's your teacher, like if it's Miss Bruns. And so, yeah, you got to fill that out so that way I can take attendance and count you as being present today. Any other questions before we go? We have 1 minute left. No? All right, well, don't forget to go to your specials class. Don't forget to get those 2 assignments turned in. We had an assignment yesterday that needs to be turned in. These assignments that we're doing are from last week, okay? And so yesterday and today were just kind of catch-up days. Tomorrow we have an actual quiz over transverse waves, all right? It's only 5 questions, so don't freak out. And we might be able to do a Kahoot before we take it. I'm not sure. So we'll see. All right, well, thank you for coming today, guys. I love you and I'm glad you're here. You matter. Bye. Oh, wait, I forgot I said I was going to stay here with Mark. Did Mark leave already? Oh, stay here, Mark. Don't leave yet, okay? Let me unmute you. I'll unmute everybody. There we go. So I have to say goodbye to the rest of you.
Yay!
Specials. I'm going to help Mark right now.
Sounds great.
Seven.
I don't know.
Bro, it's echoing so bad.
Okay, let me mute everybody again. Kevin, where are you? Oh no, he left. If somebody has Kevin's phone number, please tell him to come back. I will help him figure out his Google or his Chromebook. He says he has problems with his Chromebook. But I need Mateo, Dante, Mark Herrera, Geraldine, Jocelyn, David, Kelly, Jason, and Maria to go to specials, please, so I can help Mark and Kevin. Well, Mark, okay, that was confusing. I'm helping Mark from Miss Jolly's class. So Mark from Miss Brun's class needs to go to specials, please. Thank you for coming today.